Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to Al Islah Institute. My name is Norodin Wamu Africa. Today we're going to be learning about the introduction to the pillars of Islam and articles of faith, lesson 2. Our objectives of today is to understand the meaning of Islam and to learn about the 5 pillars of Islam. Now let us look at the meaning of Islam. What does Islam entail? Islam is an Arabic word which means submission, total surrender, and total resignation to the will of God. Therefore, a Muslim is the one that submits to the will of God. And Islam means the one that worship Allah alone, to worship and serve Allah alone, and to believe and follow the Prophet he has sent. Therefore, a Muslim is the one that practices a monotheistic religion, that he doesn't associate any partnership with Allah. As you can check with our third definition there, it says that you worship Allah alone, you submit to Allah alone. Everything, it emphasizes on worshiping God alone without any association of partners. Now, when coming to the 5 pillars of Islam, Allah has mandated 5 acts upon which the whole religion is built. Due to their importance, the Prophet stated in the Hadith, Islam is built upon 5. These acts of worship are called pillars of Islam, and they are as follows. And before I go further, I'd like to state that the pillars of Islam are the core basis of the religion. They are the core foundation of the religion. It is the pillars, or it is the foundation in which all Muslims abide with. Therefore, when you enter into the fold of Islam, automatically you have to abide with these 5 pillars, and they are as follows. The first one is the testimony of faith, known as Shahada. One must profess the testimony of faith, which is summarized in 2 ways. There is no deity worthy of worship except Allah, and Muhammad is his messenger. By uttering these 2 words, automatically one enters into the fold of Islam. In order for one to become a Muslim, you don't have to undergo certain rituals or do things that are like wants you to prove that you are a Muslim, or things that are beyond you, or do certain acts in order for one to become a Muslim. By uttering these 2 words, you simply enter the fold of Islam. And you start by uttering them in Arabic, then in the language that you use. For instance, I'm a Tsonga from Limpopo province. I start with Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Therefore, I stated in my language, which is Kwaaba Shilo Leshi Fenekelo Kongeriwa, and Lega Shikwembu, and Muhammad Emurimiwa Washkwembu. By automatically stating these 2 statements, I automatically entered the fold of Islam. Now, after uttering those words, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah, you start observing the 5 daily prayers. The 5 daily prayers are the obligatory prayers which every Muslim needs to perform, and they are known by the names of Fajr, Zuhr, Asr, Maghrib, and Isha, and they have their own prescribed times. One must offer 5 daily prayers in their specific times. For instance, in Fajr, you pray at dawn, Zuhr, you pray during the midday, and Asr, afternoon, Maghrib, sunset, Isha, it is at night. Through prayer, Muslims are able to maintain their relationships with Allah, and they remember Him often. Therefore, this makes them to not fall into temptations of this world. For instance, they are less likely to sin because they are in constant remembrance of Allah. Just think now, you are praying 5 daily saras each and every day. It means that throughout your day, you are interrupted in what you are doing. Why? Because you have to go and thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the blessings that He has bestowed upon you that day. For instance, whatever that you are doing is less important when it comes to the remembrance of Allah. And once you are having this consciousness of Allah, known as taqwa, that's when you'll not fall into temptations. Therefore, it is less likely that you will sin. Now let us come to the third pillar of Islam, which is compulsory charity, known as zakah. When you are a Muslim and you have stored a certain amount of wealth through the financial institution or at home or any other way that you bank, therefore you have to take 2.5% of that money and give to the needy or give to charity. Therefore, it is easier. You can either choose to give to an Islamic charity organization which is responsible for providing things such as food parcels and other assistance to the needy. And the amount that you give has to be determined by a certain percentage that we are going to be looking at when we are focusing on zakah, the topic of zakah in details. Now, the fourth pillar, it is fasting, known as sawam. Muslim fast for the period of 1 lunar month, which is known as Ramadan, and they refrain from drinking, eating food, and having sexual intercourse from dawn to dusk. And also, during this month is the month whereby Muslims they focus more on reading the Quran or understanding the Quran or having a better relationship with the Quran. In Islamic terms, or it is normally known as the month of the Quran. When you speak to Muslims or speak to those that are in the fold of Islam about Ramadan, they will always state that during this month, it is month of Ramadan, it's the month that we try to read and understand what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is really trying to teach us from the Quran. The fifth pillar, the last but not least, is Hajj. A pilgrimage to the house of God in Makkah is obligatory for every Muslim to go there once in their lifetime. For instance, when you are having the means and you are able to go to Mecca to perform the Hajj, as a Muslim, you are obliged, or it's obligatory to you to go there and perform Hajj. But if you are not having the means, then you cannot go. Therefore, it is not a force that you go and perform the Hajj, but there are benefits that you get from going to Hajj. Now I'll be looking at the physical benefits that you get by going to Hajj. When you are at Hajj, you get a physical and visual proof of brotherhood in humanity. Because when you are there, you find brothers from different states having different designation from their country. You find a president, the world's most richest people, the world's most famous people, footballers, and anyone that is a Muslim and which is having a prestige, you will be amongst them. Like there is no a special place where we can say it's a VIP session for those that are famous. We are all now going to perform the pilgrimage, which is going circling the Kaaba, and you find that on your left you are having the world's most richest person, on your right the world's most famous person. But once you are there, you discover that indeed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves us equally, regardless of whatever wealth we have accumulated on earth. When we go in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or we don't have that prestige that we are having. Every worldly thing that we have, we leave it at home, and we become as empty as we came into this world when we are all in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yeah, now those are the 5 pillars of Islam which we have briefed into them. Now we're going to be looking at them in details, but as for now, let us look at the articles of faith until we meet on the next session of articles of faith. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.